Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're really getting into something huge, the journey to study in the USA, especially focusing on students coming over from India.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
We want this to be like a shortcut,
Yeah.
a way to grasp the essentials of this whole process without getting lost in like endless guides. We're aiming for the key insights.
Exactly. Our goal here is pretty clear. Break down what can feel like a really daunting path into, well, manageable steps. We've basically taken a comprehensive guide and pulled out the absolute must-knows. So by the end of this, you should have a much clearer picture of everything, from choosing a course right through to thinking about careers afterward.
Okay, fantastic. Let's
Yeah.
dive right in then, choosing your path. So when students from India are looking at the U.S., what's the range of academic options really like? Is it just a few main things or is it wide open?
Oh, it's definitely wide open. That's one of the biggest draws, I think. You've got an incredible diversity of courses, both at the undergraduate and the postgraduate level. I mean, across pretty much any field you can imagine.
Right.
And yeah, sure, the big names like MIT, Stanford, Harvard, UC Berkeley get mentioned a lot. They're amazing, of course. But there are hundreds, literally hundreds, of other excellent universities.
Okay.
Now, specifically for students from India, we do see a strong trend towards STEM fields. That's science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It really does. It often aligns well with the educational background many students have. Plus, and this is a big plus, STEM graduates often get that extended optional practical training, the OPT.
Ah, yes, the OPT, that's important.
Hugely important. It can mean up to 3 years of work experience in the U.S. after you graduate. So that really boosts career prospects, potential return on investment, all of that.
So understanding that breadth, those STEM advantages, that's really the crucial first step.
Absolutely. You need to know what's out there to tailor your journey effectively, to make sure it fits your ambitions and, frankly, sets you up for what comes next.
Okay, that extended OPT is definitely a key piece of information. Now, let's say a student has kind of narrowed down their field, maybe even a few universities. Here's where it gets really interesting. The admission process itself. What are the key hurdles, the absolute must-haves to get into these programs? What about all those tests?
Right, the application stage. This definitely needs careful planning. It's not something you rush. First up, English proficiency. You'll almost certainly need either the TOEFL or the IELTS.
Okay, TOEFL or IELTS, standard.
Yep, standard tests. They check your academic English reading, writing, listening, speaking. Then for undergrads, it's usually the SAT or the ACT. These basically assess if you're ready for college-level work.
And for postgrad?
For postgraduate, it's typically the GRE or the GMAT. The GRE is more general, covers lots of fields. The GMAT is more geared towards business schools, MBA programs, that sort of thing.
Got it. So tests are one part. What else goes into that application package?
A lot, actually. Beyond the scores, you need several key documents. There's the statement of purpose, the SOP. That's your chance to tell your story, explain your goals, why this specific program. It's really important.
Your personal pitch, basically.
Exactly. Then you need letters of recommendation, LORs, usually from professors or maybe employers who can vouch for you for your skills and potential. You'll also need a solid resume, obviously, detailing your experiences. And, of course, all your academic transcripts and certificates, official ones.
Right. And deadlines. I hear those can be tricky.
Very tricky. They are crucial. Generally, for programs starting in the fall, you're looking at deadlines between, say, November and January. But, and this is important, they really do vary by university. Some might be earlier, some later. You have to check each one.
So no room for error there. You miss it, you miss it.
Pretty much. Mastering all these details, getting the test done well, crafting a great SOP, getting strong LORs, hitting those deadlines, it's all vital for a strong application.
Okay, that sounds like a serious amount of work.
Yeah.
Let's say you navigate all that, you get the acceptance letter. What's the next big step? I'm guessing it's the visa.
You guessed right. The visa is definitely the next significant hurdle.
What's the main one students are usually going for?
Overwhelmingly, it's the F1 student visa. That's the standard one for academic study in the U.S.
F1, okay. And how does that process start?
Well, it actually kicks off after you get something called the I-20 form from the university you've chosen and accepted.
The I-20. What's that?
It's essentially your certificate of eligibility for non-immigrant student status. Sounds formal, right?
Stop it.
But it's crucial. The university issues it, and it confirms you've been admitted, you've shown you have the funds to cover your costs.
Mm.
It's basically the foundation for your F1 visa application.
Okay, so acceptance first, then the I-20, then the visa application.
Exactly. And a key part of that application is the visa interview.
Ah, the interview. What are they looking for there?
It boils down to three main things, really. First, your purpose. Why are you going to the U.S. to study this particular program? Be clear about your academic goals. Second, your finances. Can you actually afford the tuition, the living expenses? You need to demonstrate that. The I-20 helps, but they might ask more. And third, your plans for the future. What do you intend to do after you finish your studies?
And I heard something interesting about showing ties back home.
Yes, that's absolutely critical, though maybe not always explicitly stated. You need to convince the visa officer that you intend to return to India after completing your program. They're looking for strong ties, family, job prospects, property, things like that. It counters the presumption that you might try to stay illegally.
That's a subtle but really important point. So clear articulation, preparation.
Definitely. Being clear, confident, and well prepared for that interview is absolutely key. It can make or break the whole thing.
Okay. Now, you mentioned finances in the interview. That brings up a huge question. We know U.S. education isn't cheap.
No, it's definitely not.
So what kind of help is out there? Is there financial aid or scholarships specifically for international students, especially from India?
Yes, thankfully there is. It's a major concern, the cost, but there are options. Many universities themselves offer financial assistance. This could be in the form of scholarships based on merit or need, or assistantships.
Assistantships, like working for the university.
Exactly. Teaching assistantships where you might help teach undergrad courses, or research assistantships where you work with a professor on their research. These often come with a tuition waiver or partial waiver, plus a stipend. They can significantly reduce the cost.
Wow. Okay. That's good to know.
Definitely. And then beyond what the universities offer directly, there are external scholarships specifically aimed at Indian students wanting to study in the U.S.
Any big names people should look out for?
Yeah, there are several well-known ones. The Fulbright-Near scholarships are very prestigious, covering various fields. There's also the Tata scholarships, specifically for Cornell University, but still significant. And the Inlax Shibdasani Foundation scholarships. There are quite a few if you start digging.
But they're probably quite competitive.
Oh, absolutely. Highly competitive, but you have to be in it to win it, right? Researching these options, understanding the criteria, applying early, it can make a massive difference in making studying abroad financially viable for you.
Right. Worth the effort then. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. Beyond the classes, the applications, the money, what about just living there? What's daily life like? The culture? How do students adapt, especially if it's their first time away?
That's a great question, because the experience is much more than just academics. The U.S. is incredibly diverse, which is fantastic, but it does mean there can be some cultural differences to get used to initially.
Like what, for instance?
Things like maybe a greater emphasis on individualism compared to community, different communication styles. Sometimes just the pace of life can feel different.
Okay, so a bit of adjustment needed.
For sure. But a huge advantage for Indian students is the presence of a really strong, vibrant Indian community across the U.S. in most cities, on most campuses.
That must help a lot.
It really does. It provides a fantastic social support network, festivals, food, familiar faces. It helps ease that transition, gives you a sense of connection back home.
That's comforting. What about practical things like managing expenses day to day? Can students work?
Yes, that's another crucial point. On an F1 visa, you are generally allowed to work part-time. The limit is usually up to 20 hours per week while school is in session, and potentially full-time during official breaks.
Okay, 20 hours. That could make a difference.
It definitely can. It helps cover living costs, rent, food, transport, and it also gives you some local work experience, which can be valuable too.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, tapping into that community support, understanding the work rules, that helps create a more balanced experience.
Exactly. It's about building that support system, using the resources the university provides, like the International Student Office. They're usually very helpful. And just, managing your time and budget effectively. It all contributes to settling in and thriving.
All right. So let's look even further ahead. Graduation happens. All that hard work pays off. What does it all mean then? What are the actual opportunities for international students to work in the U.S. after they finish their studies?
Yeah, this is often the end game for many students thinking about careers and return on investment. And the U.S. system does have specific pathways for this. We touched on OPT earlier, optional practical training.
Right, 12 months or 36 for STEM.
Precisely. So that allows you to work in a job directly related to your major field of study after you graduate. It's a fantastic bridge to professional life. There's also something called curricular practical training, or CPT.
CPT, how's that different?
CPT is for work experience during your studies. Think internships or co-op programs that are an integral part of your curriculum. It has to be required or count for credit.
Okay, so OPT is post-graduation work, CPT is during program work.
You got it. Both are great for gaining that practical experience in the U.S. context.
And what about staying longer term, if someone wants to build a career there?
That's where the H-1B visa usually comes in. The H-1B is a non-immigrant visa that allows U.S. companies to employ foreign workers in specialized occupations jobs that typically require at least a bachelor's degree in a specific field.
So companies sponsor individuals for this.
Correct. An employer has to sponsor you for an H-1B. It's a lottery system these days because demand is high, but it's the main route for professionals to work in the U.S. for several years after their OPT period ends.
Okay, so there are defined pathways, even if they have their own complexities, like lotteries.
Yes, absolutely. The opportunities are there, from immediate post-graduation work through OPT-CPT to potentially longer-term employment via the H-1B. It provides a clear trajectory for those looking to launch their careers in the U.S.
Wow, okay. We have really covered a huge amount of ground today,
Yeah.
seriously. From, the very beginning, picking courses, finding universities, then navigating that whole complex admission process, the tests, the SOPs, and the crucial visa journey, the I-20, the interview,
Yeah,
understanding the finances, the scholarships,
right.
adapting to life there, the culture, the part-time work, and finally mapping out those post-study career paths
Right.
with OPT, CPT, H-1B.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It really feels like we've distilled a massive process down to its core, most impactful elements, a true deep dive.
Indeed. And maybe, as a final thought for everyone listening, as you weigh up all these steps, the applications, the costs, the opportunities, try to remember that this journey, starting abroad, it's about so much more than just the degree you get at the end. It's really profoundly about the personal growth that happens along the way. Navigating a new culture, maybe for the first time, building resilience, meeting people from all over the world. It genuinely expands your perspective in ways you might not even anticipate right now. It equips you not just with knowledge, but with adaptability, a broader worldview, qualities that are frankly invaluable in today's interconnected world. It's a transformation